this thing out. Guys, can you hear me? Please type in the message. Anyone, can you hear me? The microphone seems to be working. Okay, where's chat? Oh, great, great. Thank goodness. Oh, I'm sweating here. Anyway, I'm finally live. It's really good to be here, and it's good to see all of you. Thank you so much for your support. Thanks for not leaving in this couple minutes. Wow, it turned out to be more difficult than I expected, but hopefully it's all good now. Well, first of all, this is my second stream, but the first one that I see the chat, and thank you so much for being here. I I tried to read the names, but they go too fast. Thank you so much, um, guys. Great to be here. Well, I'd like to start off telling you what happened last time. As you all know, I was talking, but I wasn't getting feedback from you. I didn't see anything. So what happened right after I was done, around midnight here in Russia, there was a knock on my door. So I went up and I opened the door, and Pinball himself. I couldn't believe it. I was speechless. I was like, Pinball, is that you? He said, you know what? I saw that you were having difficulties and hopped on the car and drove all the way from Tennessee to Russia to help you out. I said, well, you missed it by a few minutes. I was done. And he was like, oh, shoot, I gotta go back. I said, no, come on in. Let's have a tea. I'd like to meet you and, have a chat with you. He said, listen, it's really a long drive from Russia to Tennessee. I have to make it by the morning, and Mrs. P will be worried. And he just took off and he left. Yeah, that's a joke. But on a serious note, thanks so much. I read all your help. A lot of people emailed me and texted me in Facebook, but it was too late. Anyway, who? Let's do this, guys. I have so many questions from you. I posted a video saying, please, I need help. Trying to figure out what to do in the next stream, and you did provide a lot of help. You did give me a lot of questions and topics for discussion, and this is what I'll try to be doing today. But before that, I would like to tell you that, well, first of all, it's great to be here. It's such... Making a video on YouTube and uploading it is different. You make a video, upload, and that's pretty much it. And then you have some comments over time. But when you see that so many people came to see you speak live, that's totally different. Energy is different. So thank you so much. Over my videos, pretty much most of them, I have tried, that's to make a little bit more interesting. Oh, I guess I gotta say hi to everyone. I'm on my cell phone, iPhone, and this messages, they kind of disappear. Hang on one second, I'm trying to figure out. There are so many of you, that's great. Lorna P, Kim J, Chief Jim, James, Augur, Frank. I mean, I saw so many comments from you, and it's such a pleasure seeing you here. Hello there. Jay Moore. I'm sorry if I missed someone, but Jennifer, Frank again. Guys, so good to see you. Wow, Mommy. Some names I cannot read. CBC, CBL, something like this. Patricia. Sergey is a friend of mine. I know personally from Maine. Gosh, I was trying to figure out how to, turn on the live stream, and I was sweating, so I'm sitting there. One of the questions. Oh, anyway, my friends, hello. I'm sorry if I missed someone's name, but that was so good to see you. One of my funny questions from last video was I was sitting there and sweating also, and one girl wrote, "Don't you have air conditioning at your home?" I do. There are six air conditioning units in my home. No central AC, just like small blocks, but six of them. But the thing is, the weather changes here so quickly. Like it was really cold one night, and then I turned the heat on, and then daytime it became hot. But the house is made of brick and it's huge, and it stays warm or cold for a couple days. Despite whatever you do. That's why I'm also sitting here sweating. Not because I don't have AC, but because it's the weather change, rapid weather change. Anyway, guys, to make my stream not very boring, I will tell you this. I have some Easter eggs in most of my videos, and my hidden Easter eggs. And this Easter eggs is actually one topic that's very, very visible, that kind of jumps right into your face if you watch my videos. And I'm gonna give you a hint right now, and you try to guess what that is. Over the 100 videos that I've been uploading on YouTube, I have not received one comment or one question about this topic, this Easter egg. I will give you a hint. It's very, very obvious in my previous videos about bees and beekeeper that I uploaded a couple days ago. The video is called Bees Attacking, Honey Business in Russia. Then another video, why apartments in Moscow can be a serious deadly trap. That issue, that topic is right into your face. And another one, Russian shopping mall, also recent fresh video. 1 year after COVID-19 started, that's another video with an Easter egg. You try to figure out what I'm talking about, and please write in the comments. But not right now, but towards the end of the video, I will let you know when, after I'm done answering the questions that I was asked over this past week. And now, if you allow me, I'll go with the questions. I will start with, I'm sorry if I don't call the names of people who ask questions, but there are so many of them. I've, pretty much covered all the questions that I've received over this past week when I was asking for your help, what to talk about in the next stream. The first question is meals commonly prepared in my area where I am right now, in the south of Russia, in Rostov-on-Don. You see, probably a lot of you understand what's the difference between New York City and New Orleans. It's a lot of difference. It's the people, the culture, food, accent, the way people behave. It's the same country, but still there are visible differences. Well, the same thing about my area, Rostov-on-Don, where I am right now, and Moscow. Moscow is like New York City, actually very similar to New York City in many ways. And Rostov is like New Orleans, also very similar. And food is also different. Moscow is more international, a lot of food from different countries, India, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, the Caucasus. And Rostov is very local food. A lot of seafood, freshwater seafood, such as crayfish, such as seawater fish, bluegills, and things like that. Very spicy, very colorful, very rich in flavor. This is what we have. I will make more videos in the future on what people cook here and what authentic dishes here in Rostov-on-Don. But to sum it up, same difference as between New York City and New Orleans, between like Eastern New England style and Cajun, something like this. Okay, another question: what are traditional events? Well, what are local events with local in terms of local traditions happening? I tell you what, nothing is happening in Rostov-on-Don. It's a very non-eventful city. There are 1 million people living here, but no place to go really, except for sports. There's a huge soccer team playing here, well, football team. A theater, a large theater, an opera. My nephew and godson is a huge star in Russia, opera singer, and he's here in Rostov. And that's pretty much it. There are a few parks. People go out and play. There is a river, Don. People go to the beach when it's warm. People go fishing. It's pretty much it. So, no events that really happening these days. Tomorrow is V-Day. That's a big event throughout Russia, including Rostov-on-Don. That's about it. Moving to the next question. What do Russian people do for fun at different seasons, different times of the year? Kind of same thing as they do in Maine or in northern United States. In the winter, everyone gets cabin fever and everyone drinks a lot. Winters I actually like better up north than here down south, because here it rains a lot and the temperature is above or below freezing a little bit. And it's always gray, it's dirty, there's no snow. It's not too cold, but it's not warm either. It's wet, always damp. And in Moscow and further up north, we have a lot of snow and it's cold. And it's just so many things to do. Go sledding, go Nordic skiing. Sometimes you can even ski, like there are ski hills. And it's just like, you dress up warmly. You walk outside of your house or apartment and you just, walk on the snow. That's pretty cool. Walk through the forests. That's pretty much what people do in the wintertime. And in the summertime, I don't know, just go to the beach, lakes, rivers, fish, drink a lot, go out and barbecue, picnics, things like that. Okay, going to the next question. That's a very good one, actually. It made me think a lot. Higher rate of crime in Moscow than in hometown. All right, that's a very good question, actually. I still have a hard time watching the messages because I am streaming on my cell phone and they kind of appear and then disappear quickly. So I still have to figure out how to get all the messages. Where is the crime rate higher, in Moscow or in Rostov? Place where I was born. I actually made a video getting mugged in Russia, and I explained a lot about crime situation in the city where I was born and I grew up. Rostov-on-Don was for a long time considered the street crime capital of Russia. It was so bad in the 80s and in the 90s that you guys really have hard time understanding. It was I don't know how, if you get out, if you got out outside of your apartment, outside of this little area where you live, where you know your neighbors, then there would be 100% chance you would get mugged. Okay, I've seen pretty rough stuff, and anyone who's familiar with Russia knows what Rostov-on-Don means. Sergei Fisenko is right here. He can write you guys about Rostov. But this past November, I made a video. I actually outfitted myself. I put expensive clothes on. I took a camera, very expensive DSLR. I took a cell phone. I took a wad of cash. I was flashing around. And I went at night. I went to the places where some 30 years ago I wouldn't dare to go, without one penny. I was just not there to go there. The hottest crime spots. And you know what happened? Nothing. I wasn't approached by anyone. I didn't smell any danger. Nothing. So I'd say that Rostov is very safe right now. I will put a link to the video that I made. It says getting mugged in Russia. Check it out. Moscow, oh, it's a big city. It's like 20 plus million city, and a lot of people live there, and shit happens. All kinds of things happen there. And people get killed, people get mugged, but overall, I've never felt unsafe in Moscow, not once. And I've been to different places at different times of day and night. And when I was younger, I was going out a lot and drinking. I was drunk at some places where I shouldn't have been, and no problem whatsoever. Didn't even remotely feel any danger. So that's answering your question. Another question, a very good one that got me thinking. Ever, comparing how I was growing up in Soviet Union, well, and in Russia, to how my kids are growing up, what's the difference? I will tell you a little bit of how I was growing up when I was a kid. I was living in the streets basically because there was very little fun things to do inside of our apartments. We didn't have TV. Well, we did, but there was only two channels, and they showed us one movie at night, and I think one cartoon per day for kids, and that's about it. So, we didn't have internet, gadgets, obviously, and we just used our apartments to sleep. Other than that, we'd be out in school or playing in the streets with friends. I had a bicycle, and from morning till night, especially on vacations in the summertime, I would just ride around bicycle with friends of mine and playing cards, getting in trouble everywhere, fist fighting with some kids from other blocks, playing football. Just we found things to do. My kids are absolutely different. Uh, they are all into gadgets. All right. My girls are 17 and 13, and my boy is 4.5. And the girls, there's not much I can do. They have a world of their own, and they just the youngest one is still at school, and she's just going by school, and the oldest one is graduating this year, and then she's trying to get into college. Okay, but what I'm trying to do is to get my son to grow up more like I did. That's why we moved to Moscow, and that's why we moved into an apartment, not a house, but I bought an apartment, so he would be among other kids of his age at any time, and he would be making social contacts, learning how to negotiate, how to play with other kids, and he'd be out riding bicycle with friends, running around. We have tremendously great playgrounds right by our apartment. And actually, number one goal that I have as adult right now is to make sure that my son grows up more or less the way I was growing up, because I think I was growing up in the right way. And I think a lot of you who are watching my stream, we're about same age, plus minus, and you are growing up pretty much same way I was growing up, and I think it's a very good way for kids to be brought up. So that's what I'm trying to do, and a lot of times I'm concerned. I see dangers of this ever-changing world and how it influences on my kids. And to be honest with you, in many times, in many occasions, I don't know what to do. Okay, so that's answering your question. I briefly saw another question about Russia, like all Americans, are told to leave Russia by June 1st or July 1st. Guys, it's a big mess. What can I say? Our politicians are, how to say mildly, not very good people because they got us into the situation where Russians cannot get American visas in Russia, immigrant or non-immigrant tourist visa. We now have to go to different countries, even if we have legitimate business in the United States or we want to immigrate. We like, a lady or, there's a couple, someone marries someone, and to get a fiancé visa now, we have to travel to another country. And same thing with Russia. Russia has been pretty crazy, and it has forced America to do the actions it did. And then America started, then Russia, followed the suit that America did things again. Anyway, they play in this crazy, you know, game of blaming each other. But I believe that Americans can stay in Russia. I believe that there is no danger to Americans whatsoever. I mean, I don't believe it. I know there is no danger. It's just it will be difficult for them to get help in case something happens in Russia. They usually go to the embassy of the United States, and the consulate or the embassy, provides help, legal help or informational help. Now they won't be able to do that because there are too few employees. So that's what it's all about. It's about Americans are advised not to come to Russia because there will be very little help available. But you know what? I think that if something serious happens to an American here, then the embassy still will help. That's answering one of your questions. Another question. That's ever popular question. Okay, I think, guys, a lot of you are interested. Do Russians prep? Are there any preppers in Russia? I actually made 3 videos lately within last few days about Russians prepping. First of all, a couple days ago, I went to a preppers village, ultimate preppers village, where only preppers and farmers live. And I made like a 30-minute video. Then I went to my mom's home and I showed how she preps, the results of her work. And the third video I'm making, I'm talking about on prepping in Russia in general. So yes, there are many preppers in Russia, and yes, older generation Russians are all preppers because living in Soviet Union, we had to prep to survive. There was no other way. Um, and in the very next few days, I will have a couple videos come out, and that will answer your questions, and you will see everything about prepping in Russia in the videos. Okay, then going to the next question. Dollar stores. Are there any equivalent? Is there any equivalent of dollar stores in Russia? Are there any dollar stores in Russia? Anyway, you get the question. There are Russian dollar stores called Fixed Price, and that's how they're pronounced in English, Fixed Price. 2 young guys founded Fixed Price in 2007, and they basically took the business model of dollar stores, and now they're billionaires. They've grown tremendously. They have like a few thousand stores throughout Russia. Russians are becoming poorer by the day, and this dollar stores, fixed price stores, are becoming more and more popular because they have cheap stuff. Not very good quality, but it's cheap. Another question. A good one too. Have Western sanctions affected Russian economy? Well, mostly no. They have not affected much. Of course, some effects can be seen, but in general, they have helped Russian economy. That was a real stupid move by the Barack Obama administration. they started this sanctions, not war, but they started putting sanctions into Russia. Basically, in the last 7 years, Russia has become much stronger because it has helped local businesses develop the products that we used to buy from other countries, imported from the United States and other countries. So now we make them here domestically, and we don't need the Western products anymore. Okay, but Russia has become much poorer. Russian economy is much worse, in much worse shape than it was back in 2014. But that's not because of the sanctions. That's because of the Russian government. It's deliberately making Russians poorer because it wants to control them more. And that's really a topic of for another discussion. Okay, but uh, the Western sanctions actually have helped Russian economy. Another question. I was asked to talk about food, what we eat for food. Kind of, it's much better to make a video about food than talk about it. So I think in the future I will try to make a few videos about what we eat, what kind of dishes we prepare and things like that. But I can't really talk about food. It'll make me hungry. It's 11 p.m. I don't want to eat so late at night. Just kidding. Does everyone has a pet? No, everyone does not have a pet, but a lot of Russians do. It's usually dogs, tiny dogs or huge dogs. Okay, there's no middle ground. It's either tiny or huge, and sometimes it's cats. Drives me crazy because our neighbors, quite a few of them, have dogs, and you know what happens? They take their dogs out early in the morning and late at night, and they take them to the children's playground, and the dogs poop. And their poop is not cleaned in most cases by their owners and just left there. So they go outside early in the morning, and then kids come out and play, and they play around dog poop. And this is just driving me and many parents around me nuts. Um, the question about elderly. Where do old Russians people live? We usually live with children. When they grow older, they move into their houses or apartments and live with their children. That's a tradition in Russia, more or less. Or sometimes they live on their own. There aren't too many homeless in Russia. Most Russians have some kind of we call it a corner, to have your own corner. So that's about the elderly. What do Russians think of Americans? That's a huge question. Back in Soviet Union, um, we didn't like Americans. Well, not like we didn't like them, but we were scared of the Americans. I remember I was growing up as a kid. I was like 3, 4, 5 years old, and I was thinking, why Americans are so bad? Why are they so evil? Why are they so warmongering? Why do they want to kill us all? We're just peaceful people. Myself, my family, we don't want war. We just want peace for everyone. And Americans are so aggressive. But then, of course, truth came out, and I learned a thing or two about America from the first hand. And when Soviet Union fell apart, Russians fell in love with Americans because American values came to Russia. American products, American businesses, American culture, American movies, everything was American. Okay, and we just what's the right word for it? We admired America. Okay, then oh, Vladimir Putin, when he became the president in 2000, he admired America as well. He wanted to become Russia to become part of NATO, and there was a plan for Russia to join, NATO and the Western countries. Putin was desperately trying to become one of Western countries, not even allies, but one of ours, so to speak. And that didn't happen. The West did not let Russia in. Okay, it needed Russia to be where Russia is. It needed Russia to become an enemy again. So it kept Russia away long enough, and then Putin got upset. In 2006, Russian foreign policy turned around 180 degrees and started the chasm between Russia and the United States started growing. So ever since, a lot of ever since America has been made an enemy again by the Russian government, and this topic has been a very important part of Russian domestic policy because it's very convenient to have an enemy at the door. It's very convenient to have America as an enemy again because all domestic problems can be blamed on the enemy. Okay, you start making less money, you losing job, unemployment going up, inflation going up. Look, this is America's fault. Okay, we're surrounded by the enemies. It's them. They don't want us to live well. They want us to go down. And a lot of Russians hear that every day, and they start believing that, unfortunately. So right now, it's I would say half and half. Half of Russians still like America very much, and half of Russians start blaming America on our own problems, which is total BS. Okay, but that's the fact. That's what's happening. Moving on to the next question. This is a very good one, too. One of the subscribers sent me a question. Said it doesn't appear that the US is interested in improving Azov region economically and infrastructurally. Is there ever been a plan for a free trade zone like Hong Kong to that area to lift it up economically? And I noticed big developments in Batumi and Belgrade as cost of living of is low, and it attracts people who work remotely. So anyway, to it's a very complicated question, and then to answer that, one must understand what is the Azov region and what role it plays in international geopolitics. I'll try to be very brief because that's a topic for another discussion. Um, that discussion, unfortunately, would be of Ukraine. Very, very painful issue for me. I've told you before my attitude to Ukraine. My mom is Ukrainian. I spent so much time in Ukraine. I work for a Ukrainian company. And anyway, Azov region is right next to, well, where I live. Okay, Azov region of Ukraine borders city of Taganrog, which is 40 miles from city of Rostov, from my home. And the subscriber is absolutely right. Nothing has been done by the United States to improve that region economically. And that region is very important because the city of Mariupol is a very large port, Azov Sea port, and it has a huge steel factory. And economically, it's vital to Ukrainian economy. The United States hasn't done anything, but the United States hasn't done anything for any country at any time. Financial aid, if it was distributed, had certain goal to be reached in mind. I studied that at American college. I was sophomore and I was taking this course, International Economics and International Policy. And our American professor was teaching us of the role that the United States plays in geopolitics and international economics. And the United States, unfortunately, does nothing but rips countries off. It um, seeds conflicts to control areas like Middle East, like Asia, like Europe. For example, there's a conflict in Ukraine, and it was manufactured by the United States with two purposes: to control Europe, because Europe does not need a war right inside of it, and to control Russia, because Ukraine is a proxy of the United States with a war in Russia. Okay, and see what happened? Ukraine is in ruins. That's very unfortunate. Um, the subscriber says that he noticed development in Batumi and Belgrade, but you see, that development was not American. Uh, that development is commercial. I've been to Batumi myself, and I saw that, and I think Belgrade is more or less similar. Private companies invest money in built infrastructure. They build embankments, roads, and apartments so they can make money. That's pretty much it. American government is nowhere near to be found. I'll give you a little example how American government works in Georgia. Not the state, but the country. Georgia is right next to Russia. The United States comes in and says, okay, we're going to give you $20 million for this project of organizing small markets everywhere, so where the locals can, who grow food, they can come in and sell, their food they produce by roads and things like that. Instead of going to one huge market, they're gonna be selling locally. All right, we're gonna give you $20 million in aid, and then we're gonna give you a loan of $20 million, which you will repay over 10 years with interest. Okay. Okay, the Georgian politicians say okay, and the United States does come in. U.S. aid comes in and does its thing and really builds local markets. All right, but the local markets don't do anything to the locals. It's just a little more convenient. They have to travel a little less to sell. Okay, so there's no financial returns on that, and the money spent and the loan is created, and now it has to be repaid to the United States. So nothing good created. Well, it's little good, nothing extraordinary good is created, but the loan is created and the debt is created. And now Georgia as a country owes to the United States, all right? And it's much easier to control the country that that owes you money rather than an independent country debt free. Okay. Another very good example about Georgia. The United States outfitted Georgian police in a way very similar to how American police is outfitted. American cars, cruisers, American uniform, American pistols, rifles. So the United States gave Georgia a loan and said, okay, we'll give you a loan. Do you have to repay us like 10, 15 years? But you have to buy everything from an American company at the price that we tell you. You see what's going on here? So this is how the United States helps other countries. Helps. Well, I hope I answered your question. Another question. Is it your government that sets wages for people? Basically, does the Russian government set wages for people? Yes and no. If it's a commercial company, then no. Of course, that's the company that sets wages, and that's supposed to be open market, and it's pretty competitive. But you see, in Russia, there are so many people that are employed by the government. I don't want to lie, but that's over 10 million bureaucrats just work for the government. 10 million people. Then there are cops, military, the army, the uh, you know firefighters. They all work for federal government. Teachers, doctors, judges, prosecutors. There are so many people, and of course, their wages are set up by the government. And the government ever increasing the number of people who are employed, who it employs. Because if you get paid from the government, you cannot protest, you cannot speak up freely, because you're gonna get fired immediately and you will lose your income. So the government wants to employ as many people, and I think it wants to employ all Russians eventually. Okay, that's one of the earlier videos I made about is there socialism in Russia. Check it out. So that's answering this question. Another question: if I could change the medical system, what I would do? Briefly, I would do two things. I would reduce theft, because there are so many people steal, not only at medical system, but it's everywhere. The budget money, the federal money, are stolen in tremendous quantities here. Probably will make another video on that later. It's really a difficult topic to cover. And so I would reduce theft. There are easy ways to do that. And second, I would improve education of doctors in Russia, because over the 20 years, the educational level has gone down tremendously. That's what I would do. Two more questions. How often Russian government talks about America? Every day. Every day it's America this, America that happened in America, and it's all bad. Okay. Like I said earlier, America is the enemy of Russia now, and the Russian government wants to distract attention of Russian citizens by focusing their attention on America, okay, and saying, we can't really pay you much money because it's America's fault. They are running their arms, there's another arm race, and then we must, instead of paying you, we must, invent new weapons and so forth. Well, you get the idea. Another question is, what are Russians told about Americans now? You also get the idea. But I tell you what, this past summer, that previous summer, when the Black Lives Matter happened, they didn't say anything about America. They didn't say anything bad. They just showed what was going on live. They showed Minneapolis was like a war zone, and all Russian personalities. They were commenting. They were just looking and saying, "Look at this. We're not making this up. This is really happening in America." And then what happened? Oh, for example, Joe Biden going upstairs on his plane, falls down twice. All Russians channels pick that up and show on prime time, and they don't comment. They just telling the Russians, just look at this. Just look at this, and that's it. So that's what's going on. Okay, guys. I see that there are quite of comments that you left. Now, let me ask you about the Easter eggs. Have you thought of what kind of Easter eggs I was talking about? What kind of topic is hidden in my videos? It's not hidden. It's just I didn't really, named it, but it's right there, right in front. And I will see the comments that you're making. How do I see my own? Gosh, I'm trying. I have a Russian girlfriend. Should I move to Russia, or should she come to the USA? I'm sorry, Pink Poppy. I don't know. I mean, that's immigration is such a personal decision. All I can do is I cannot give you advices, but what I can do is I can discuss my personal view and what I would do in the videos that I upload. That's pretty much it. I don't really see any comments on. They go so fast. No idea, no clue. I don't know. No, it's not weather. Red hack. No, Christian. Nope. All right, guys, I won't keep you guessing. Listen, this. Hang on. I will. Let me give you this Easter egg, and then I will try to answer the more questions that I see on my phone. The issue that I haven't really named, but I kind of make a part of many videos, is the liability issues in Russia. Let me give you an example. Like my very fresh video about bees attacking me. I got stung twice right here, and it hurt. It hurt really bad. Anyway, what happened was I stumbled onto a bee truck, right? I thought it was abandoned, but then I saw the beekeeper, and I realized there were like millions of bees inside. And I just, said hi to the guy, and I made conversation. And I said, "Listen, I'm making a video. Can I peek inside what you have?" And he was so friendly. He invited me over. He said, "I can open a bee family for you if you want." I said, "Wow, great, let's do that." And as I was uh, going up to his truck, he mentioned, and you look in that video, he says, "But do it at your own risk. If you get bitten, if you get sting, then just clench your teeth and thank God that you get medicinal bee bites, bee stings, okay?" And I said, "No problem." You see, in the United States, that would not be possible because he runs a business. And if I were to get inside of that business and a bee would sting me, I could sue him. There's a huge liability issue. He probably would have to have insurance, but after I'd sue him, his insurance would go skyrocket. There'd be so much money. So in America, not one sane business person would do something like he did. And you know what? I ended up getting stung twice. But I have no intentions on suing the guy, and because that was my responsibility, you see? I was responsible by stepping inside of his truck. I was I was taking responsibility. It was my fault, okay? The next video was why apartments in Russia could become deadly traps. That's a very good one, okay? I basically in the video I explain why we moved to Russia, and earlier today I was explaining how I'm trying to bring up kids. I'm trying to have them play outside as much as possible with friends on their own by themselves, just like I did like when I was a kid. Did you see those stairs, those constructions in the children's playgrounds? They are dangerous. Kids can easily fall down, break a leg, a hand, or whatever. But you know what? No one makes a fuss about it. And I think they're absolutely right because it's the responsibility of a parent to have to keep an eye on a child and to teach the child to be careful. And if a child, accidents do happen, someone twists an ankle, Michael fell down off the stairs of those constructions so many times, and a couple times he fell down pretty bad, but now he knows better. Now he watches every step he makes. That's how he learns, okay? In the United States, that's a huge liability issue. That would not happen. A playground like that is not possible, okay? And the third video is Russian shopping mall 1 year after COVID-19 started. If you noticed, one of the scenes inside of that video is a choo-choo train driving around like crazy around that shopping mall really fast. And people walking, and the choo-choo train just goes by, and then it's like kids sitting with parents, and the driver just honking, and that's pretty much it. There are no signs, be careful, and things like that. That's a huge liability issues. Can you imagine anyone running a choo-choo train like that in American shopping mall? one day, the next day, the operator, the owner, either shopping mall or the owner of this little business that rents space to place choo-choo train would be sued. So, liability issues, that's a huge difference between Russia and the United States. The responsibilities, who bears responsibility? In Russia, you act at your own risk. And in the United States, someone else must think for you. McDonald's, Russian McDonald's cops don't say hot inside, be careful, because a sane person knows that coffee is hot, and if you spill your coffee on your knees, it's your fault. It's your responsibility. You should have been more careful, but that's not McDonald's fault. Okay, that's the Easter egg I hid inside of my videos. Well, so far, my friends, it's been 1 hour, about 55 people, and pretty amazing. I've seen the comments. Let me just give me a second. I'll read some of them. About media. Glad you made it. Did I see pinball here? Oh yeah. Hello, friend. Now, next stream, I have to figure out how to see all the comments right in front of me, because they're right now they're on the phone, and it's really difficult to read them. Yes, you knew they were bees. Absolutely, that's what I was talking about. My responsibility. I made the decision. And if I got stung and I would die, that'd be my decision, my responsibility. The guy is innocent. I wouldn't win the case in America. Well, I could argue with that. My friends are lawyers. They told me about the cases much more dumb than this, and that they won them. Russia is no more or less, yes. I don't really remember how life in the USA was in the 80s, but I first got into the USA in 96, and it was normal, just the way I was used to it. Thank you for loving my show. Thank you, friend. So many people have middle name. That's one of Sue in the US. That's, you know what? I think that's really harming your country, because when people people when people they don't even rely on someone else, they want to take advantage of other people's, not even mistakes, but situations, I would say. Bear Wilkie, do you believe in God? Yes, I do. I'm a Christian, and my values are very Republican. God, family, hard work, and freedom. I've been talking about it a lot in my videos. Do we have snowflakes of the way things. So there are choo-choo trains in American shopping malls? What? I wouldn't think it was possible. But well, it's good to know. Good to know. I was actually telling my wife when I saw a choo-choo train first. I said, "Look, this would never happen in the USA." Now you're telling me you have them too. It's the good old days in Russia, which we lost here. Kim, I've heard that many times. A lot of people say that. Yes and no, because Russia has a good share of the problems that the United States doesn't have. And if to sum them up is a bunch of people, not too many, I would say around 100 people, they have seized the control, the power, ultimate power in Russia, and they are using it to their own advantage, to the personal advantage. And from simply using and enriching themselves, they are changing into enslaving us for good, or trying to enslave us. And that's the biggest problem that my country has. Yes, we have. Amazing. Well, it's good to know, guys. It's good that I was wrong. Okay, because if there are choo-choo trains running the shopping malls, then there's quite a bit of common sense left. Okay. Canada has had choo-choo train for years. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, I have a question from Loma P. What year did you leave Maine? Was there I think it was a long time ago, 2004, 4 or 5. I think it was the end of 2004. Have they cleared all the post-Soviet pollution up? Not sure what pollution you're talking about. What happened? The Soviet Union had tremendously powerful industrial complex, meaning there were so many factories. We didn't buy anything from abroad. We were selling a lot of machinery, and we were supplying everything for ourselves. And then in 1990, and that's pollution, obviously. In 1990, most of the factories just stopped working. Therefore, air cleaned naturally, waters cleaned naturally because they were much lower emissions. And there hasn't been since 1990. Do you have freedom of religion in Russia? Uh, okay, that's a really dangerous question for me to answer because there are certain laws in Russia that regulate our life, if you know what I mean. But I will give you the facts. Jehovah Witnesses were outlawed in Russia. I think many Baptist churches, I'm not sure about Baptist, but I think been outlawed. I know Jehovah Witnesses, some of the members are in Russian prison just for preaching, basically. All other confessions, except for Greek Orthodox Church, which is official religion in Russia, and Catholic Church. Catholic Church is not big in Russia, but all other Christian religions are outlawed. Muslim Muslims are not outlawed. Like in Russia, half are Christians and half are Muslim. Uh, Quite a few Jewish, and they're not outlawed. They're present here. But so you decide for yourself whether we have freedom of religion or not. We do have freedom of religion as long as you are Greek Orthodox. Okay. Do you do any hunting, fishing, sports? Yes, I love fishing. Unfortunately, I don't do it often as I live in Moscow has good fishing, but I'm just too busy. Never done hunting. I can't. I don't like hunting. I don't like killing animals. And of course, I play sports: football, soccer, basketball. As I grow older, I play less and less, but I used to play a lot. Well, you don't have freedom of religion in Russia. Well, you said it. I didn't say that. Then you were in Sako when I went through there on the vacation. Yeah, that's a small world, Lorna. Small world. That's pretty incredible. You have a beautiful wife, lucky man. Yes, I am. She's beautiful, and she's very smart and very wise too. That's really like winning a lottery. I love the video of your date, a day with wife. I have another date video coming up. Um, we have a tradition. I'm gonna make a video on in personal stories. We have a tradition to return to the place of our first date. I took my wife out for a coffee, and every year on January 1st, and every year we come to the same, return to the same place, and we have same coffee. We sit at the same table, and that's pretty emotional. So I'll make another video on that, and I also have another video coming up with some footage of our wedding and some pictures of our, where that were taken at the old house back then, and how the place looks like right now, and so you can see the difference. It's pretty cool. Thank goodness you're not a hunter. No, no. I actually tell you more. When I lived in Uzbekistan, I have another story, the part two coming hopefully day after tomorrow. But when I lived in Uzbekistan, I went meatless, vegetarian for about 9 months. It's just fruits and vegetables in Uzbekistan are so tasty that it's really easy to go without meat. And I felt really good. I lost tons of weight, and I didn't really feel any need for meat. I started eating meat again when returned to Rostov. Uh, Here the diet is very different. My parents were cooking barbecue, then my wife's parents cooking barbecue, then my friends invited me for barbecue. And it's always meat, 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 meat. So I tried once, one more time, and then boom, went back to eating meat. We here, the Jewish, actually run. That's a good question. You know what? The, the same question I heard in the United States. Someone was telling me, I heard Jewish was running the United States behind the curtain. I don't believe that Jewish are running Russia. I don't believe that Jewish are running the United States. I know a lot of Jewish people. I know personally the chief rabbi of Russia. He invited me to the wedding of his daughter a couple years ago, year and a half ago. I know a lot of Jewish people in Old Orchard Beach, Maine. My best friend was Jewish. King Weinstein, letters to King. I told the story in my first stream. He was Jewish, and no, I do not believe. From what I know about Jewish people, they do not run Russia. They do not run the world. They're very successful, but that's because of their qualities and their attitude to life. And not all of them actually reach. Sorry to have some of these questions. I have people here asking um, me to ask you, but thank you very. I'm sorry. Listen, don't apologize for asking me anything. I mean, that's fun to get these questions from you and understand what people at the other sides of the globe think. Okay, and then I have fun answering them, so that's quite all right. Women, yes. You know what? I really believe that women run the world. You know, here in Russia, and especially in eastern countries like Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, it's men up front, men on top, okay? And women deal with that. And you know what they say? Man is the head of the family, but woman is the neck. any place, any you know, any place neck moves to, the head looks into that direction. So I do believe that women do run the world. Many signs there, English and that. Yeah, that's very common. Signs in English are everywhere because we are so similar to the Western culture. We are part of the West in some ways, and English is very acceptable here, accepted and very normal. Do you believe in the 80-20 rule? 80 in the world are good, rotten, make it bad for all. Um, an interesting question. Thank you, David. I do believe in 80-20 rule. It's called the Pareto principle. I was taught that at school, and in business it works 100%. Okay, 20% of salespeople give you 80% of your revenue. You know, 20% of troubles give you 80% of your headaches. Things like that. It works. Not sure about bad and good people ratio. I'm sure there are bad people and there are good people, and that's I'm not sure how many. It's either 50-50 or 80-20. You know, it comes down to darkness and light. That's what I believe. The warriors of light and the warriors of darkness. And I think and I hope that there are more bright people than the dark people. Do I have plans? Bob, excellent question. Do I have any plans on returning to the USA? Over the course of my life, I have moved different countries, different places, and my life has taken turns that were absolutely unimaginable. So I don't know. I do not plan at the moment, but anything can happen. One thing I know for sure, if I ever to come back to the United States, I would feel there quite at home. That's that's obvious to me. Too bad too many. Yeah. It's sad that we're not better friends as countries. Well, you see, one of my goals, actually, main goal, when I was creating Letters to King was to inform people of different countries of what's really going on in Russia. And to my great dissatisfaction, lately Russia has been gaining image of the bad guy again. I've seen that happen. You know, I've seen that in Soviet Union. I saw that in Soviet Union. And it was really painful, you know, knowing that we were the good guys, we were the decent people, loving people, we wanted peace, but we were portrayed as the bad guys everywhere. And now, same thing starts happening again. Letters to King was thought of one of the channels to kind of bring truth to people outside of Russia. And it takes stepping small steps, but if there are many, many steps by many people, then there is an effect, okay? And I hope that my channel, you know, my knowledge and me sharing my knowledge, you know, helps to bring our countries together. That's not just the words, that's how I feel. Good afternoon, Toronto, Canada. One of my best friends lives in Toronto, so I know that place quite well. Is there a third movie? For which didn't really understand that question. I'm sorry. You would have many friends. Well, even before I started Letters to King, I had many, many friends and family living in the United States. Two of my kids live in Maine, Jake and Sky. Yes, some of my friends are right here in this stream. Oh, guys, you know what? We were talking about Texas. That's a little funny story. As I was making, well, we went, what, a few days ago, we went to the old house and I was making video on this fancy place where rich Russians live. And at first, we were having breakfast. And that's kind of difficult to film and enjoy your breakfast at the same time. So I was having breakfast and having a conversation with my wife. And we were discussing the United States and the recent developments. And we kind of toyed this idea, where would we live if we ever were to go back to the USA? California, hands down. I tried to sell her Maine some time ago, but I gave up on this idea because she doesn't like cold. She was born in Siberia, but she hates cold. She likes everlasting summer. So I was telling her how wonderful Maine was, and then she said no. All right, California, Southern California, where it's summer all the time. Fine. But then, and she's been such a California fan, but then I was telling her what was going on in California run by the Democrats. How they, drugs and homeless and infrastructure falling apart and overspendings and things like that. And the kids, the education, how they're trying to force sex change in schools and things like that. And for the first time, she said, well, perhaps we would consider Texas. Texas. Now, first she asked me about Texas, like, how is Texas? And I told her that was one of the last pillars of freedom and Republican values. And then she looked at me, she said, well, perhaps we would consider Texas. California, very expensive, I know. Very high taxes, I know. But you know what? We live only once, and hell, so what? Just gonna motivates to make more money, that's it. They're not enforcing in California. That's I heard otherwise. A lot of people replied to my video on are men still men and women still women. It's good if they're not enforcing. Well, not enforcing, but they're encouraging. I think I messed up the word. Then they educate small kids that it's okay to change sex and they give them hormones and the kids can decide for themselves. I don't think it's true. I mean, I don't think it's right. So that's what I meant. We are grossly misinterpreted. Yes, warm here in Texas. Ogre, please explain what do you mean we are grossly misinterpreted. Hello, Champ Marley. Florida. Oh, I don't like Florida. Um, I've been to Florida many times. I went to Disney World. My partner, ex-partner, the one that I was doing business in Uzbekistan with, he lives in Florida in West Palm Beach. He invites me all the time, but somehow I just don't like that state. I'm sure that many great people here, many liberal ways. Friends, you know what is very interesting, at the same time very disturbing? Back when I came to the United States, I studied political science. I'm sorry, it's past midnight here. Not silence, science. Um, and there was no fight between the Democrats and the Republicans. Many issues were bipartisan. People were okay with each other, regardless they were Democrats or Republicans. it was not really such a huge issue of life. And it seems like right now it's totally different. It seems like right now it's people have divided into two camps, the liberals and the Republicans and the Democrats. And this is so sad and so disturbing. I mean, I know many decent good people who are Democrats. uh, what's wrong with being Democrat? It's just, I think that the current Democrats, they have gone too sideways with what they've been doing, how they've been running the country. Okay, but I mean, you're not necessarily a bad person if you're a Democrat. Democrats have also have some good points and some good values. Okay, but it's sad. It's sad. Lorna, that statement is a blanket statement can be used against preppers. I'm not sure what statement you're talking about. Enjoy your country with or without. I see Nikita Khrushchev. Hi, Nikita. Well, I am enjoying my country with or without defect. I love Russia. I was born here. I was raised here. I'm Russian. My parents, my grandparents, my roots are Russian. And I love it. I live here. I came back to live in this country from the United States. And the biggest reason of me coming back was that I didn't want to be uprooted. I didn't want to burn bridges. I wanted to see more of my relatives, more of my parents. I wanted to be next to them. And it's really funny. It's really funny and strange for me to hear when some Russians say, how can you say bad things about Russia? Well, because I'm Russian and because I have critical thinking. Because I see the good sides of the country and the bad sides. But I enjoy every single day of living here. If I didn't, I'd go some other place where I would enjoy. Russia is so good so far. North Shore preparedness. Hi there, Paul. Well, not technically in Siberia, but she was born in the city of Perm, which is in the Urals right next to Siberia. That's kind of weather-wise, it's the same thing. Irkutsk is way, way to the east of Perm. That's an interesting statement. I may be, I may be misinformed, but I am surprised to see that this kind of direct contact with someone from Russia. I did not expect your government to allow you to be this free. Who are you talking about? Guys, I start losing all these comments. There are so many of them. Listen, I think I'm gonna wrap it up for today. Um, Today was great, has been great. You're much better than the last time when I was just talking to the camera. I'm seeing a lot of feedback, a lot of comments, and it's been absolutely fantastic time. I love doing streams. I love going live. I will be doing it every Sunday. Today I explained why this is Saturday, because I'll be traveling tomorrow. But Sunday after that, I will be going live from Moscow, Russia, my current home, and you know, let's play it from there. I will try to be more prepared. the next time. Now I know how to press the live button to go live, and hopefully, every time my streams will improve. But thank you so much, all of you, for being here and watching me and communicating with me and with each other. I will see you soon in the comments, I hope. Thank you. I gotta go and sleep. Bye. Now I have to figure out how to turn this off.